What's up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Just got over here to the shop, B&K Performance. Going to work on my race car a little bit, and if you look behind me here, a little sneak peek of Bryan's car. Bryan, and John have been kicking tail on this thing, and they have made a lot of progress in a very short period of time. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Go to turbojohnracing.com to grab yourself a flip coin and some t-shirts. All right, well, you can see there's no longer a car up on the shelf up there. The chassis of the car ended up being repaired. The whole front clip had to get done, which they've got the fiberglass front end on it now, so you're not really going to be able to see it. All the floor stuff had to be redone in the middle because it ended up tweaking the bar over here, and all the front stuff got replaced. And Mike Richardson with Hillbilly Hot Rods in Wilmington ended up doing that chassis work. And he got that stuff done pretty quick, but Bryan had a lot of customers' cars he had to get done, so this one kind of went on the back burner. The body, the silver body, basically was destroyed. And, you know, these things, when you build these cars, I mean, essentially, you're racing the roll cage, you're racing the chassis. And so the body is just riding along. And so that's exactly what it was doing. And so the body got cut off. And Bryan has always been a fan of the fastback. That fastback's always been sitting up top up there just because it was not built. It was a 7.0 650 bracket car back in the day, and it was just not capable of going the speed that it needed to go. So he decided he wanted the fastback back down. So they took the fastback down earlier in the week, cut the body off of it, basically cut the chassis up, throwed it away. The back half kit in that car that was there is a nice 4-link setup. It's going in John's car, which is Bryan's old car, the old coupe. So they're out here now. Bryan and John have been kicking tail on this thing, and you know, they've almost got this thing back together. The interior components they were able to salvage back together, all the sheet metal on the inside, so that is getting reused. And you know, the body, this fastback, I honestly have not been a fan of the fastback, but this one, it's gonna look good. It looks really nice. So they're working on it. It's coming together. It'll be hopefully first race for this one. I think he's trying to do is the 252 race. So this one will be back together for sure by then. Motor and transmission's already in it. They've already got it installed. Motor and transmission's been in it for a little while. This is a one-piece fiberglass front end from like 1965, and it weighs about 200 pounds, it feels like. But I think that's what he's going to keep on it. Bryan's over there now fixing the wheel tubs, and basically just, you know, it ain't destroyed. So it takes a little bit of effort, a little bit of time, but he's going to be able to get that thing back together. All right, guys, I love my YouTube channel. One of the reasons I love my YouTube channel is because I get feedback from people, and a lot of times it's very good feedback. I get a few people on there that kind of rub me the wrong way occasionally and tell me all my work's crap and hacks, which are not necessarily wrong, but it is what it is. But one of the things, I showed my gaskets last video that I done, and those 1206s, it was pushing back. And I had a couple people on there, they pointed out, they said, man, why don't you get the ones that have the metal cores? I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never heard of a metal core intake gasket. And sure enough, they gave me the part number. It's a 1206 S3. I've done a little bit of research on it, and sure enough, it is exactly like a 1206, with the exception as it has a thin metal core on the inside. So that's going to prevent it from moving and flaring out. I had no idea. I've been racing with a small block Chevy for 7, 8 years now, maybe 10. I had no idea that Felpro had a gasket that was available that had a metal core. So I really appreciate you guys pointing that out. So I have ordered that gasket. It'll be here in a couple days. So my plan for today was to go ahead and finish getting the rocker arms on it and go ahead and bolt the intake on it, but I can't bolt the intake on it because of the don't have the intake gaskets. I could go ahead and get the rocker arms on it, but I think what I'm going to do, there's enough room on the corner of the shop here right at the door. I think I'm going to go ahead and just try to slide the motor actually in the car real fast and go ahead and slide the motor in the car, and then I can do all this other stuff in the car instead of on the engine stand later this week. So hopefully that's what I'm going to do. And then hopefully maybe by next weekend we'll have a running engine. Hopefully that's the plan. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys, check this out too. I did get over here a few weeks ago and I worked on this. I didn't get any filming done on it, but I got the inner subframe connector done over here. Basically, that's just an 1.5 inch pipe, and I welded it to the floor here. And probably it didn't quite fit the floor all the way up, I don't know if I'm gonna leave that like that or not, or if I'm gonna, I may cut that out. I was doing some research. I may buy like a 2x2 square tube and actually do square tube on it. And then that way I can actually set it down into the frame rail up here in the front. I have not decided if I'm gonna do that yet or not. Because this right here essentially is above the frame rail and it's welded right here on the floor. And you know, I got that really hot, so that's on the top of the frame rail, but I don't know if that's good enough. And I drilled a hole in the front up there and slid the tube into it and welded it to that area. But this thing is, you know, it's okay. I mean, it's definitely above the frame rails, but I did not cut all the frame rails out. This is kind of too high to weld it to here. I did end up drilling a hole up here, and I slid that bar through there and welded it to the actual floor there. I did not plate it. I know sometimes they say you need to plate it there. This is not done yet, but this one's going to end up, you know, going somewhere like this to support it, you know, off to from the sidebars over here to the front ones. I don't know if I'm gonna leave that like that or not yet. I have not decided. One of the good things though, these rims and tires were on Bryan's chassis. He got these from Bryan Harper's. These are actually a double beadlock weld wheel, and they're 12 inches wide. This is a 29.5-inch tire on it, and it's a 3-inch back spacing, but that fits much better than this one over here. So we are going to swap. We're going to trade. So I'm going to trade Bryan these wheels for those wheels, and that way I'll have me a nice set of double bead locks that are not tucked way up under there. They are tucked under there still just a little bit, but not near like the other ones. So this one these right here will definitely, I mean, these will work. I mean, these will absolutely work. So that's a good thing. Here you go with the front end off of it. You see it's got the same motor. He did have to buy him some new headers, so he's got new headers on it. But this front end work, Hillbilly Hot Rods have redone all this stuff up here. It was all beat up and damaged. So it is in good shape though. Got to put some mid-plate mounts on it. Man, y'all kick butt on this thing. All right, here we go. Old girl's coming back to life. See, we still got Christmas stuff all over it. We got the bells. There's still Christmas tree needles all over the top. Inside is full of parts. So this thing is going to come back to life. My great wiring down there, the motor would not turn over last time we were here when we were working on it. But I think what the problem was is something very simple. I think it was in gear. And so with it being in gear, the neutral safety switch, not allowing it. But I was looking for a wiring problem. You see all my wires are red back there. So I mean, it's one of those things. It just is what it is. But you see all on the inside there still, I'm gonna have to vacuum it all out. Pine needles everywhere. Christmas swag everywhere. All right, so just that simple. The front end is off, the hood's off. So we're gonna roll it in there, get it in. I mean, it's very simple. You can see when it's done like this, I mean, it's very easy, very simple to put in. We just got a little tie strap here holding the transmission and the converter in so it doesn't go flopping on the ground. This is my radiator, essentially, it's transmission cooler, but it's my radiator. And believe it or not, this is a K-member that came out of Caleb Skinner's car like 30 years ago. It is just beat up, and it's still got the power rack in this thing. And I mean, you know, on the budget, just showing you can do this stuff on the budget if you're willing to. Sometimes it's not the best, it's not the most pleasant, it's not the most fun, but it works out. But yeah, my junk, the old Raggedy Ann, as somebody called it. I know there's a couple cars out there named Raggedy Ann, but this is truly Raggedy Ann. She's coming back at least for the first half of the year. All right, guys, this thing's about to go in. This is my cheap old flex plate that I got on this thing. It has been on here forever. That is a casualty of muriatic acid that spilled a long time ago at the house. This old spacer plate. This is how I get my spacing right converter spacing in between the converter and the flex plate here. So, you know, this is a thicker one. It's 125 thousandths thick. So it's just one of those things, you know, you have to play with it when you're trying to get your spacing right. So the front of the motor up here, we got real simple to actually do this. I put it on the 7th tooth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and no, that's not right. It's the 17th tooth. It's down there. I was like, wait a minute, I got it marked. So that right there is close to where it needs to be. And basically, when this goes by the pickup down here, it knows that this is top dead center when it's on the 17th. You see it's not quite on 0 there. So it just counts. It misses it, and then it knows 17 teeth past that is where the actual top dead center is, and that's how it can control your timing. I think this one is obsolete now. The 60-2, I don't think they're putting on anymore and selling. I think everything is replaced now by the 36-1, but you know, it is what it is, but it works fine. All right, guys, here we go. We're gonna stick this thing in real fast. The engine bay is ready for an engine. All right, guys, well, the motor is back successfully, mostly in the car. Still got a few things to do to it. The fuel pump is on it. That was a pain in the butt. And this thing is always aggravating. This line back here is super difficult to get to, and I forgot to put it on. Usually I try to get it on like when the motor is up in the air on the engine hoist, but I did not do that. So I failed on that one, but got it on there. You also have to pay special attention to which one is which. This is the way this one works is the pickup is down in the oil pan. It goes up through the oil pump, comes out the side of the block here, follows over, goes through the oil filter, gets filtered, comes back, and then goes in. And this is the line that I have running to the turbo, so it gets filtered oil. But so it's not too bad, but you know, it's just one of those things. Is if you put that on the wrong one, it does not work properly at all, and I have done that, so make sure you always do that. I did blow all the oil out of the line and clean it out real good. That's also very aggravating. It makes a mess. That's why we got the oil stuff down on the bottom. So it is cleaned out. Engine is in. I only use one bolt. I used to use a second bolt down there, but my bracket actually bolts, so we just use one bolt on the front of each one of these. This one I had to cut out a long time ago because of my headers. It was the eBay headers, and they come down real low, so I had to cut it. It's not much room over there, but it tends to work okay. And so, of course, the motor plate, it just uses 4 bolts on each side, and then that's what holds it so that it doesn't have any engine mounts. This is an engine limiting strap. This is just something I made. This just goes over here to the actual motor mount. And basically what that does, you always want to have at least one of these on, because if you don't, it will let the motor kind of flex back and forth a little bit. I do not run a mid plate back here. You know, it's just one of those things. If I had a mid plate, it'd probably work a little bit better. I am sponsored by Coastal 5W30. That is my transmission overflow. It's kind of falling out a little bit, but normally it kind of sticks over there pretty good. So basically, this is the line that comes from the transmission, redneck style. It's got to be vented good so that, you know, it doesn't blow all over the place. And, you know, a lot of transmissions, they don't even have this. You know, they just got the vent on the transmission, and that's fine. But I want it, if it does blow some fluid out the vent, I want it to come up here and get caught in this overflow bottle, just so that it doesn't go under the tires. So, yeah, I mean, we're making some good progress. The intake gaskets will be here, hopefully, probably Monday, so maybe one day next week. Still got to get under the bottom of the car. Got a couple more transmission bolts to put in. I did not put these in over here. I have not put the starter on it yet. So these down there got to go on. I've got to put the torque converter bolts on it. I still got a little bit to do under the bottom. I did put the diaper under there just so that it is easier to get on now. So we'll just, you know, get it up later when we get the car up in the air on jack stands. So it's coming along. It's not too bad. So hopefully we will be good. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for today. Y'all make sure y'all go to turbojohnracing.com, get yourself a flip coin and some t-shirts, and comment, like, and subscribe. Later, guys.